Hey everybody, welcome to another great episode of the Choking Hazard podcast. We got a great episode planned for you today. Today we're getting a chance to sit down with Fernando Zulick as another reunion podcast. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to see more great coaches, athletes, and different technique videos, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to share. We love sharing more content with you guys daily. This episode has been sponsored by SpiritLeaf Waterdown, located at 64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario. If you're looking for Canada's top cannabis brand, look no further than Alex and his crew, and they're going to be able to help you out with all your CBD and THC needs. Just make sure you like us and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel, and you're going to save money every single time you shop there. Thanks everybody for watching. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you soon on the map. Oh, I not had it on split screen. I'm going to go back to speaker gallery.
Huh.
You're a speaker gallery.
Hey, my man.
Hey, what's going on?
Okay, guys.
Can you guys see me?
No.
I can't see you, but
Why?
Fortunately, we can't.
There we go.
I can see. Poha.
He is.
Are you in your office?
That's it. Yeah.
Is this
Very nice.
your home office?
Books. I didn't read any one of those books, but they are there.
What books do you have in your collection?
They're all kids books.
Ah, exactly.
Lots of graphics, not a lot of words. I like
right up your alley. Right up your alley.
All picture books, right? Graphic novels and shit.
That's it. I'm graphic oriented.
There we go. Excellent. So thank you so much again for joining us, Fernando. This is awesome.
Is a huge honor for us.
Huge honor. Huge honor.
No, it's my honor to talk to two legends like you guys.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we're legends.
Yeah. Well, Aaron was my white belt at Kansan Kai.
It was. I remember.
you were.
And then hold on. And then Aaron left you, stabbed you in the back.
He stabbed me in the back.
And went to Marco Costa because he's a dirty little creonch. He hit you with a steel chair and then spray painted NWO on you. That's
pretty much what happened. Yeah.
Well, I find it very amazing. So as we're kind of starting this podcast and we're joined with probably the hardest working individual in jiu-jitsu as far as Canada is concerned. And if anybody is offended by that remark, they can go fuck themselves because nobody works harder than Fernando. So
whoa. I'm triggered here already. I work hard.
You're already triggered, right? But I will say, because I was looking through Instagram today and I was actually quite happy to see that today, there was or was it yesterday, I believe you guys had a big old crew meetup at Kyle Sleeman's place. So it was Professor Shaw, Professor Marco, Monkey, Professor Joe Truckman. So that was pretty cool. I get to see all those guys got together. So how that was
cool. Yeah, well, I think we haven't seen. Well, I'm with Marco and Justin and Monkey all the time, but me personally, I think a lot of that group we haven't seen Shaw in probably 10 years.
Wow.
So Justin came up with the idea of bringing him to the grading and contact everyone. I kind of lied to everyone that I wasn't gonna come, so nobody really knew that I was gonna be there. I just made a
surprise appearance
somewhere else, and then I just showed up. But it was really cool to see everyone together. That's we always started together, right? It was funny. I was talking to a bunch of the guys from we training back at Shaw's basement, how hard it was because there wasn't a lot of black belts. We were just training hard and just we had no idea what was, not that I have an idea what I'm doing right now, but we had no idea what we were doing. We're just trying to hurt people. That was the plan, right? So
that's Aaron's still playing. That's his plan in 2022 still. I fucking rolled with him Friday and he I almost ripped his gi in half. He had to try to rip his gi off to escape me.
Working on my strength, but I'm trying to get out of stuff.
I had his lapel, and he just starts backing away, and his gi just starts searing in half. I'm like, I'm not letting go. So you do what you're gonna do with this information.
Oh man.
So like obviously like kind of going back a blast from the past, obviously like all those like battles you guys used to have in that basement, like, and again, like you said, it was just like everybody was trying to just learn how to hurt people. Like, were there some sessions when you guys were in that basement where it was just like, what are we doing here? Like,
Like, man, but you know what, like we were so close friends with each other that there was never like yeah, we were trying to hurt people. A lot of the training was based on jiu-jitsu for MMA, because Marco used to do kickboxing, if I'm not wrong, and Monkey was on the UCC, the Ultimate Canadian Championship. Same with Justin and Sean Darson and all those guys. They were training for MMA. That like the whole, but then that's it. Like, we tried to hurt people, and now at the end of the session, like, we are just the best buddies again, right? But there was no hard feelings.
I think it's awesome that, especially again, even after like some of you haven't even seen Shaw in like 10 years. So you think about how long you guys have been training together over the course of almost 20 years now, if you would think about it.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much the conversation I was having with a few guys. Like, it's been literally like 20 years that I'm in Canada. And as soon as I came to Canada, the Shop Franco's place was the place that I found to train. And it doesn't really matter what happened. Like, after kind of like 10 years, like, everyone went your way. Justin had his academy, I had my academy, Monkey, Mark, we all have our own academies now. But like, honestly, like, if you ask me, what would you change? Would you do something different? Like, honestly, I wouldn't do like anything different than what we've done. Like, I would go to exactly the same place. I would hang out with Marco and Justin and Monkey and all the guys that just like it happened. Like, I have zero regrets. Like, it was just awesome.
Was this like a reunion of like the Ontario BJJ Beatles, basically?
Pretty much, yeah. It was honestly like it was really fun to see everyone together.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is it's important too, because you guys all have like zero regrets of like anything that, and again, we don't even need to get into what happened or anything like that, but like, I think it was almost best for all of you guys to go your own separate ways on how they kind of those different pathways. So like your own school and how that's been a big success. And then obviously Marco has his pathway, and everybody's had their own path, but you guys have all forged to kind of, again, find that realignment down the road.
Well, the good thing too, Aaron, is like we didn't fight. We didn't had a problem. Like, it was just like the idea that each one of us had was like different ideas, but there wasn't like a fight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like you, and you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, no, for sure.
Different point of views, right? And Justin went his way, and Monkey went his way, and I went my way, Marco, but we never stopped being friends. The friendship never ended, right? Like, in my case, like I haven't seen Shaw, I think just circumstances, just like he moved downtown, his club is downtown, kind of far. Like, I hate going downtown. That's the reality, right? So, but we never. It's not that we fought and we had a problem. There's nothing personal, right?
No, for sure. Yeah, I remember like Shaw had obviously the place, obviously the original dungeon, and then he moved out to like I think it was like Scarborough at one point.
I mean, Scarborough on top.
On the top floor of whatever. And then there was the Laird and Bayview area one. And then he went back in Davenport, I guess it is now, or Dundas, or like.
And now he's downtown, right?
Yeah, so it's like
back downtown again. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's the Chinatown place where it's like literally underneath in the basement. And I remember going down there for a seminar one time, and it was so hot, just like the condensation up on the rafters of all the piping was just leaking all over the mats, and there's steam everywhere. It was like, oh man, this is cool.
Yeah, I think that's how Shaw likes it, because was like his original place at Lawrence and Young was just like that, right?
Yeah.
On the basement, small, and like we would train, and literally like would be dripping like a condensation from the ceiling. It was just like that was fun.
No, it's cool. No, you know what? And like everybody has their own preference of like how they enjoy their club. And congratulations to you actually on your new move, because you just moved to a new facility as well.
I just got a new we got a new place. We kind of rushed a little bit. We were trying to move to a bigger place before COVID, just because we outgrew the place. And I felt like the student base, they all deserved like a new renovated place. So we were looking, then COVID came, of course, we were holding. And even now that everything was open, was still kind of like weird, right? Like we don't know.
Yeah, you don't know
we just
closing, or they know. Yeah,
like I signed the lease for this place last September, thinking that everything was over, and then January comes and we have another lockdown. I'm like, okay, clearly we're not out of this, right? So now I'm in the middle of the renovations, and I'm like, we're in the lockdown. But it was like we needed to get out, like just some bad things in that area that I didn't like, and we needed to get out. Like I don't want to get into too many details because it's a long story.
Yeah, but new place, new fresh look.
That's
awesome.
That's it.
That's good.
What's the square footage of that place, man? Because it is humongous.
It's almost 12,000 square feet.
Woo! Jeez.
Yeah.
Woo.
Nice. So there's like there's 6,000 square feet of mats.
Wow.
So yeah, brand new, like washrooms, everything. It's looking good. It's looking good.
That's nice. That's beautiful.
Still a couple things that we gotta fix it. As I said, like we kind of rushed them. Couple more things that we got to fix, but we got time. That's it.
That's okay. I mean, so like obviously like coming out of COVID, and I think like one of the biggest things that you've obviously been well known for is obviously like getting the competitions back, right? And so like the big ones like Ontario Open that just happened over in May, and then obviously we have the newest one coming up, the Ontario No-Gi competitions. Like how has the process been going as far as like getting them back and rolling, and obviously people are like getting more engaged? How is that going?
I think this is from running the tournaments and seeing the registration, not only for the Ontario Open, but I like to see, like I want to have a good idea of what's happening so I can run my tournaments better, right? So looking at numbers of all the tournaments, it doesn't look like that we are like 100% back.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be for like different factors, like maybe people like I can't speak for everyone, but maybe people still not feeling ready because of COVID, still too new, or people weren't really training hard. They want to give some time before jumping into competitions. I would say the numbers that we are getting now, like we are kind of like 80% from what we had like before COVID.
Okay, that's still pretty good.
Which is not bad. Like it is what it is, right? Like it's still the tournaments can make it like it's like a good numbers. People are getting good competitions. Like I'm seeing like a lot of like new guys. Like there is a lot of new like white and blue. Like what I feel is like those stacked brown and black belt division, even like a purple belt that we used to have in the past. They still, and I honestly, like, I don't know, because everyone is back training.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't feel like, maybe they're back training, but they're not really training that hard to compete, right?
Gotcha.
So it could be.
I know somebody on this podcast right now that you're
like
is Fernando throwing any shade at somebody right now?
No, not really. And I'm saying this because this is what I see at my own academy, right? I'm pushing my guys, and I feel the same. Like I have like so many purple belts and brown belts and black belts that they were competing before, but now there's only like that handful of guys that are like, no, okay, I'm ready. Even like on my competition classes that were huge before, like I'm like now we have like what 15, 20 guys. Like it's not right. It's slowly coming back. Like it will go like I'm sure by the end of this year the numbers are gonna be just like before COVID.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, right? I wanted to ask, so like, do you ever think maybe, because I know like whether it's in the summertime and then obviously we still have a bunch more tournaments obviously in Ontario before the end of the year, is it maybe there's too many, or is there like saturation, or is it just kind of like it's like people are picking and choosing when to do it? It's just kind of factors of everything.
No, I don't think saturation, like it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like you run a good tournament, people will come. Like you run like a shitty tournament, people won't
go. Yeah. Okay.
Like there's always gonna be like yeah, of course. I don't wanna do a tournament and there is another tournament in a week or 2 weeks. That's not ideally. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not good, but it is what it is, right? Like I think it's just like people is still like a little concerned about coming back.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Why do you find that is, especially for like just touching back on like you said, like there's a lot of purple, brown, and black belts that were competing, and I saw this too locally, like pre-2020 COVID, and then now like you don't really see that as much, and you're pushing guys to try to compete more. Like why do you think a lot of people are kind of holding back, like I think I'm gonna wait? Because I'm just saying in August someone's gonna be making a comeback on this podcast, and I'll give you a hint, it's not Aaron.
Like I honestly, like I don't know. Like I don't know if it's because they weren't training that hard during COVID. Like it is. I have no idea. It's hard to think. Like I don't, and especially like me. Like I was competing during COVID. I was flying to Orlando. I was flying everywhere during. We having lockdowns here in the United States being open. Like I was flying to compete just because like I love competing, right? And here everything was so they scared us so much with this COVID story. Like I don't know if that's the reason that everyone stopped training. Like I have no idea. I honestly have no idea why like black belts and brown belts that they used to compete before, they are not. They're just holding back now.
Yeah. I think I don't think we could pinpoint it on one thing. I think it comes down to a bunch of factors.
It's a bunch of factors. Like and let's be honest, we're not at the same stage that we can't compare Canada to United States. That's the reality. Like a population, it's like we're 10%, right?
Yeah.
And the same with jiu-jitsu. The amount of shows and people, they like some states they barely had lockdowns. Like they had like Florida had 3 weeks of lockdown.
And then they just kept rolling and rolling.
Exactly.
They're just like herpes, whatever. We don't care.
That's it. Like
come get herpes. Come to the beach. Right? Come train.
So like I'm just trying to find ways to like we need to get back into competition fast. So, like this is the thing. Like we lost 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I'm just doing everything I can, with the Ontario Open. Now there's Ace Jiu-Jitsu that I'm partnering up with Jeff, and we'll see. Like I'm trying to run like a super, the best show we ever seen here in Canada. Let's see how that's gonna go.
So this is why we wanted to have you on. Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro Cup, baby. When is it? And where did the idea come from with you and Jeff Santos?
Well, it was more like we talking and he coming to me and saying, I want to do a show. And I'm like, no, like I want to do a show. That's exactly
fuck you, I'm doing it. No, fuck you, I'm doing it.
That's how the conversation went. Like he's like, oh, I would like to do a show. I'm like, well, but I'm planning to do a show. And they're like, okay, so why don't we do together? And he came with a name and I came with another name and we figured things out and we made it work. We put the rules, it was just like a brainstorm. What do you think is the best for a show, right? And that's how Ace born. That's pretty much it. Like now you're trying to get everyone together. So as I said, we have a show on August 14th in Scarborough, and we are trying to get the best that Canada can offer. That's it.
So as far as kind of like whether it's like rules, formats, like what's going to be the format of the show? Like,
so the format of the show, so the main event is kind of like a Grand Prix. So the main event is a black belt. This event's going to be like a middleweight black belt.
Okay.
And we have the 2 options. So there's 2 sets how this is going to roll. If we can get 8 people, it's going to be 2 groups of 4 that they fight round robin inside their group. And the winner of the 2 groups are going to do the final fight of the show. And that's the big, the 181 champion of like a middleweight championship. If we cannot make it 8, then we have another set that's going to be 5 men, and they all fight each other. And whoever score, so if you win, for example, if you win by sub, you get 3 points. If you win by points, you got 2 points. If you win on a referee decision, you get 1 point. And if you lose, of course, you get nothing, right? So at the end of, and that's how you decided who is going to be either the winner of the 5-man round robin or the winner of the 2 groups.
Okay.
Right. So 8, if we get 8 people, we have 2 groups of 4. If we have 5 people, then we're going to have 1 group, and whoever score more points, that's the winner of that main event. On top of that, there are all the super fights that are gonna come just to fill up the card. I don't want to say like that because I'm just filling up the card. No, we're planning, like the idea is I'm not even planning. No, there's no purple belts. It's only black belts, and there might be a few good brown belts in the card. So the main thing is like ideally we want to show with black belts only. We might have to throw like a brown belt here and there.
Okay. And already you've announced you have 1 match already announced right now. It's Kevin Wheeler versus Darson Hemmings, correct?
Kevin Wheeler and Darson is one. We have already a bunch of cards that they are like there's a bunch of fights that they are already set. Yeah. But we are releasing like
you just released that one, so that's awesome.
Yeah, Kevin. I think Kevin Wheeler and Darson is a big, let's be honest, they are two top competitors here in Canada. So I think that match alone, it's already worth it to be there watching.
Mm-hmm. For sure. No.
Is there any other matches you want to release right now?
I can't release one right now that I'm happy to see that match.
Breaking news, CNN, baby. Here we go.
No gi is gonna be, so every match is 6 minutes, okay? Unless so it's IBJJF rules for gi or no gi, but all the matches are 6 minutes, okay? Unless the two competitors, they agree on some sort of different rules. So this is the only match that's gonna be 8 minutes, and is Hussein Hazim from Toronto Top Team against Orgis. I think I hope I'm not spelling his last name wrong. I think it's Sageta.
Yeah, he's
from he used to be, they gave me another name for the academy. I'm apologize, I don't remember the name of it. He used to be at Grants.
Yeah.
I don't know if
now they're at I can look it up really fast, but
we had a legendary podcast with Urgis as well. Like we had a legendary podcast with you previously where Urgis was basically he's watching a Pittsburgh Steelers game as he was doing a podcast with us, giving us commentary on the game.
It's United. It's the United Grappling Club. It's the Hobson Mora team. Yes.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. So I'm really pumped to see that match. So we're gonna be announcing that match tomorrow. So there are a couple more that are set already. So in the next couple of days, you guys are gonna be seeing all the matches announced.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see this because so a question for you. Obviously, depending on where you get, whether it's the 8-man bracket or if you get the 5-man bracket, is that going to be a no gi or a gi?
Super. So that's gonna be the plan for the event. Is the main event to always be a gi match. Okay. But now the super fights are gonna be gi and no gi, depending on who gets invited, what their preferences are. We want to showcase the gi and no gi. That's the idea. But the main event for now, until we go through, there will be 3 weight classes. So there's a middleweight that goes up to 181. There's gonna be like a featherweight that's gonna go up to 154, and we're gonna have a heavyweight that goes up to 221. So we're gonna do those 3 championships for guys. And for girls, we're planning to do 1 girls event early next year. And if I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be, the weight is gonna be up to 141.
Okay. But that's not gonna be on this card. That's gonna be planned for the next card.
That's gonna be like the main card, like 5 girls up to 141 on the round. That's going to be the main event of another.
Oh, cool. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun.
So that's already kind of booked to the beginning of next year. So at the end of this year, we have a date already in November. That's going to be the heavyweights. So they're up to 221. So we are putting names down already. Who do we think are going to be the top guys in black belts in Canada up to 221, and that's gonna be in November.
Awesome. Okay, so I think, like, from what I can kind of sense, is like this is almost going to be like a series of obviously different cards and kind of keep building from that. And obviously we can get 8-man brackets. Awesome. If not, we go for 5, and then just keep going with new weight classes every main event.
For the next event is going to be a different weight class. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. That sounds awesome.
And all the other fights, just to make sure the event, like at the end of the day, like we want to see good fights, right? And so that was the planned event. Like like we need black belts, and that will help us to showcase the sport too. Like
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with the other events when you have like a blue belts and purple belts. There's nothing wrong. I'm not saying, but it's just not what we want to do. We want to do an event that's only it showcases the best guys in Canada. That's the idea. Right? And for the first event, like we are just like we putting a lot of money on this event, and we're just pushing just to. We just hope that people are gonna like it. That's it.
Yeah. Awesome. So if you're a competitor, you're listening to this, you're like a brown or a black belt. How do you get on one of these cards? How do you get on one of these shows? Like, what, as you as a promoter, what are you looking for?
Well, right now we want people that want to fight. That's the reality, right? We have a sense of lots of messages, and that goes back to what we were talking previously about. People don't want to fight on the tournaments, and that's not different than the card, the super fight card that we are trying to do. There's always people that they have other priorities, or they think that they are not ready. There's always gonna have something like honestly, like I'm making like the card for a show. It's not easy. It's not easy. So I just hope that people see the first show and they like the format and they like what we're doing, and then for the next one it gets easier because people want to
be on it or whatever.
Want to be on it in a show that's a great show. Right?
Yeah. So when you look at kind of I don't even know if the question is you look at some of the grappling events that have good successes. We'll throw them out there, like Fight to Win, or even Who's Number One. What do you feel that they do really well is something that you want to even take your show to the next level? Is it just a fight content? Is it the way you would display it, the way you present it? What would you say?
If we need to compare, I like to compare with Fight to Win. Fight to Win was a show that it was built from nothing, right? They started small, and they were growing and growing. And of course, running everything in the United States, it makes it easier because you have the material and you can go from one state to another state, and you still have so many people doing jiu-jitsu that you can always build decent cards. Having said that, what I'm trying to do for these events is I'm not even trying to do decent cards. I'm trying to do a card that was never seen in Canada. The plan is to do something that no other show in Canada has done. Just black belts, just the top. Is this hard? Yeah, it's being hard. There's, as I said, we were talking to people. There's always people that they have other priorities. They are not ready to compete, and it will take time. Like it happens to other shows. It took them time to build the brand, right? With Who's Number One is a little bit different because they came with they are pretty much FloGrappling.
Yeah.
So so they have already FloGrappling behind them. And again, I don't want to take anything away. I think of Who's Number One is probably one of the best shows out there, right? So maybe one day we can do something similar. The other idea for this show is we want to have Canadians only. This is a show built from Canadians for Canadians. That's and until we run out of options, that's gonna be the plan.
So you basically want it to be kind of like a Fight to Win, style of like you're going like state to maybe not necessarily like, are you thinking about taking this to like other provinces, getting other
Like
guys involved?
Yeah, we talk about that. Like we want that, but that's the thing. Like we needed to make sure that we have like a decent cards, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't think for the brand, I don't want to go to another province and now you gotta start. You run a card that's not like a decent card.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, whereas like you want to have and showcase Canadian black belts only and then run a really well run card with those Canadian black belts and not necessarily, yeah, even if they come from Vancouver, they come from Winnipeg, we don't care. But as long as it's Canadian based cards and you have good competitors on those cards, right? Because again, like, and again, this is not a knock on like fight to win or anything like that. But again, you do get like blue belt, purple belt fights and all that kind of jazz, but it doesn't necessarily represent the brand that you want to display, right? And if that's the vision, where it's like, okay, the vision is black belts, Canadian, like I think you still stick with that and you still have to drive that. And again, it's about building the awareness.
That was the idea, right? So like we don't wanna run one every month going from province to province. So we want to run maybe 3-4 a year on those different like a weight divisions that we talked, like a featherweight, middleweight, heavyweight, and the girls. So right there you have 4 nice divisions that if you run those 4 every 3 months, then you have the whole year. Now you come back to next year and you do another middleweight, or say now you have the middleweight champion of last year.
Yeah, now you go
a couple new guys, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I love it. I think it's great. Now it's just about building awareness and getting the competitors to compete, and we need to see them really.
Yeah. No, I think it's gonna happen. Like I think like as you said, like the guys are coming back. Everyone is getting excited for the tournaments again. This show is gonna be a massive one. I'm sure people, when they see the final card, everyone is gonna be pretty pumped to come.
No, that's awesome. So I think especially for any listeners out there right now, if you're a lazy piece of shit not training, then you want to get on this card. This is how you get on.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. Then I don't need to say that. I really appreciate.
Like,
thanks for calling me a lazy piece of shit, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
I'm gonna help you out, man. I left you once. I'm not gonna leave you hanging again.
You stabbed Fernando in the back once.
Stabbed me twice.
No, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you.
Aaron's new team is now known as Creonch Top Team.
That's it. CTT.
CTT.
I love it. So like, as far as kind of like, obviously the competitor issue is kind of like one thing where you're working through and you're building. Is that kind of like the biggest roadblock you've had like when creating this tournament, or has there been other things that you kind of have to like work through, and obviously barriers you're going to try and push through?
Well, brainstorming at the beginning was hard because you gotta make sure that you come up with a format that's unique, right? Like everything that I do, like it wasn't different with the Ontario Open. I want to do a show that, and that was my convert when I sit down with Jeff and we talk, like we want to do something that's different. Like if the idea is to do something that it's going to be the same of the other shows, like then we don't need another one. It doesn't make any sense. Like we need something that people see the value on coming to a show that's different. So we got that format of like either an 8-man or a 5-man, like as a super. That's the main event of the night, and all the other super fights on top of the main card. But it needs to be like all black belts or brown belts, like good brown belts, right? So
this is a very Copa Podio-esque that you're trying to bring to Canada.
Yeah, well, and I don't want to discredit anyone. He was looking at Copa Podium. The format was Copa Podium style, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have done both. They have done 2 groups. If I'm not wrong, that they did 2 groups of 5 on each.
Yeah, I believe they did. I think it was 2 groups of 5. Everybody did a round robin, basically.
Round robin, the first place fights the second place on the other. So there's still semi-finals and finals, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, that's correct.
And they also did like a 5-man round robin, which we had, I think, of the last one we had, I think Michael Sheehan was a Canadian representative.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that was a 5-man round robin that they did it.
I think so. I'll have to double check, but I think that he was a 5. Yeah, it was a 5-man bracket.
If he wasn't 5, was 4, but I think was 5. So not just giving credit to the guys. The idea of it was kind of like a Copa Podium like style.
Okay, excellent. No, I think like you said, like you're working through the kinks in the armor right now, but I think by the time the show rolls around, because you still got tons of time, it's definitely going to come into fruition, and it's going to be an exciting card. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like we're planning. Everything is looking good. Of course, we're dealing with finding the right people to be on the first show, but I'm sure that as soon as they see what we are going to deliver to the spectators, everyone will want to be part of the second event later in November.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, for, I guess, exposure purposes, I know we've talked to a lot of different people. We've had like Ricardo on the podcast. He's openly works for like FloGrappling. Is this a show that you want to potentially, do you want to take it outside of Canada, be like, to go to FloGrappling, be like, hey, like we have this idea, or do you want to make, or do you still want to keep it like within Canada? What's kind of like the long-term vision? Is it do you want to stay in Canada, or you want to still grow more internationally?
No, the idea is to stay here. I think the main thing that even like the top competitors in Canada miss is a show that they can showcase their skills. Like we don't have a fight to win in Canada per se. We don't have a who's number one. Everyone that wants to fight at who's number one, like now, they're either training in the United States. Like who is the Canadian that's there? It's just Brianna. Like Brianna is the only one.
You got Brianna, and you got the guys that moved to the States, like Oliver Taza, guys like that, who were in Ethan,
right?
Yeah.
So really, so there's nothing here. So anyone with good potential in Canada, we gotta go to United States. Is this what we're gonna like? So the idea was, okay, we need something big here that people can showcase. So of course, like the show, we are working on streaming that show, right? So that's something that's gonna happen. So it's gonna be a spectator. So we're gonna have tickets on sale next week, but it's gonna be streamed.
Yeah.
Of course, it's gonna be like a pay-per-view, right? So we have like a company that's gonna do everything. And it's gonna be a pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view, once it's in the internet, like I hope it hits like as many homes as we can. Like as I said, like the idea is to do something for Canadians to showcase the best jiu-jitsu competitors that we have in Canada.
Yeah.
So we have no intention. There's no intention now on doing like an ace jiu-jitsu. Oh, let's go to New York. No, we wanna do that for Canadian competitors.
No, I think that's great, because now again, you've said it. It's like it's all about showcasing the Canadian competitors and the Canadian black belts that can get out there, showcase their skills, and again potentially win, and then see that spotlight, right?
Yeah, and if they win, people are seeing those guys. Maybe there is they invite them to like a fight to win. or who's number one, or whatever the other show is, right? But if there's nothing here, then there's nothing to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the big thing. I think you're right. I think there's that one big, I guess you could call it like a super fight show or anything like that, where there's not the exposure for these guys or girls to get onto these bigger events, unless basically, as we said before, you end up traveling to the States or you're training in the US at a big team.
Yeah. Like the reality is today, if you want to compete, like you got to travel. There's not a big show here that's going to give you any exposure.
I think the Ontario jiu-jitsu scene does a very good job at like the grassroots level, and like the Ontario Open, for example, like white belt, blue belt, purple belt, like even all the way up to black belt, where it's like, it's the biggest tournament in Ontario, probably the biggest one in the country, honestly. But I think it's just, there's that one more thing that's missing, where it's like the who's number one shows, the fight to win shows.
I think we are missing. I think Ontario is missing like a big show, like an event, just like a super fight event.
Yeah.
And that's the why we are doing the ACE.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's the main plan, like doing a show that the guys can showcase jiu-jitsu. That's it.
I think everything before that, like tournament wise, I think we're doing a fantastic job. I think that's just the one missing ingredient that I agree with you, is just that one show to kind of put people and get exposure and to get some people to that next level.
Yeah, and hopefully that's what I mean. Like hopefully they see what we are doing, and that show becomes people that they win. They get invited to go to other bigger events in the United States.
Yeah, no, for sure. So one more question before we wrap up, because you are like I said, the busiest man in jiu-jitsu right now. You got a show coming up. You got another tournament that's on the sidelines. What's kind of like the next steps for you now? Obviously the shows are the big things, but then like potentially with it expanding affiliation, expanding the school, keep growing as you're growing, or is it just kind of focusing on the tournament scene right now and building that vision right now, which is ACE?
Yeah, well, like my main thing is the academy, and there's no doubt about that. Like I put a lot of time on my academy. I want to have good instructors teaching at action and reaction. That's the foundation of everything. Is the Ontario Open, the ACE is just the passion that I have for jiu-jitsu. That's the reality. I wanna have the Ontario Open was like 2009 was our first Ontario Open. And since the day one, the idea was to make a tournament that people they want to come because that's the tournament to come. So what we are going to do different. So in 2009, that was the first, nobody would ever think about, let's give trips to the worlds.
Yeah.
And we've done that on the first event on 2009. We ran the first event back then. We had no idea how many competitors would come. But the thing is, okay, we wanted to have the best guys. Let's give trips to the best guys. And we've done since 2009 all the way to here. So the Ontario Open, it's now everyone wants to compete, like and then we keep giving trips.
Yeah.
Right. And the plan with ACE is the same. We felt like, okay, there is a missing part. I have in my academy. That's what I do. There is a big tournament, the Ontario Open, that's for everyone, for the white belts, blue belts, like every single one, like masters, kids. But we're missing one piece. And I think that was the super show, right? We needed to have a super show that only the best guys are gonna come compete for that title, and hopefully the other shows in the United States are gonna see these people and they're gonna say, you know what, I want that Canadian on my show, and they get invited to who's number one, fight to win, or whatever the other shows in the United States.
I think it's an amazing game plan. I'm looking forward to seeing these shows, and I'm obviously very curious to see who the next competitors are, obviously in this bracket. So that's what I'm curious to see, but I'm excited for it for sure.
Yeah, we are going to be announcing lots of things this, and also you guys can let people know that you guys are in charge of the online. Do you guys want me to do your job, or
no, we're gonna
I can do your job too, like I don't mind.
You're doing so many jobs right now. I mean, it's hard to keep track.
Exactly.
That's it.
No,
right?
Exactly.
We at the Choking Hazard podcast will be in charge of the draw for the brackets for that main event, middleweight world. Is it a cup, title, trophy? What are you giving away?
It's a cup, yeah. So the plan was like, we don't want to feel biased on who fights who. If it's two groups, who are on group A or who is on group B, and also who fights first and who fights last. So there will be a template that says competitor 1, 2, 3 goes here and there, and there will be like an online draw, just like 2 days before the event. There will be like an online draw that will say this is going to be the competitor on group A or group B, or if it's a 5-man, who is going to be the order of the fights, right? Competitor number 1 fights competitor number 2 first fight, and so on.
Perfect.
This is gonna be awesome, Aaron. Is there anything that we have? Also, one more announcement. There's a contract that Fernando has slipped to me with your signature on it for the 181 division. Would you like to announce that to everybody?
I did not see that.
That's a surprise.
We're full of surprises here tonight.
Like,
in all seriousness, no, nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, no,
Fernando.
When did we miss the part that we said that the top black belts? Like that was.
We're really, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like we're the last.
I mean, like if I must, I will, but still. I think we can find some other people.
Fernando's like, listen, I really don't want to ask Briars. Aaron, can you get on this fucking card, please? For the love of God. So Fernando, in all seriousness, wrapping up. Any final thoughts? Anything else that you want to announce? Sponsors you want to shout out? The floor is yours.
Well, like we did it with the other tournaments, like any sponsor that wants to hop on board, they can contact us. Like, we don't have anyone right now, and if we get sponsors, like, we are doing something that, like, a lot of the profits, they are gonna go back to the fighters. Okay, so all the fighters are gonna get something back, and that's connected to the amount of tickets that's sold. So any sponsor that wants to hop on board and help the fighters, everything that we make, a percentage of what we make is gonna go back to the fighters. So, and that's another thing in Canada too. Like, we gotta, these people, they gotta get paid. I mean,
Yes.
Let's be honest. Like we gotta. It's hard. It's already hard doing jiu-jitsu here in Canada, so we can't give a lot right now. It's gonna be the first show, but if we can get the right sponsors, if we can get the right crowd to be always supporting, the more we get, the more those guys are gonna get to.
Well, I do have a potential sponsor for you, Aaron. It's one of the sponsors of the Choking Hazard podcast, and that's SpiritLeaf Waterdown, Aaron, located at
64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario.
You can
And if
get
you're
all your
looking for CBD and THC products, boom, we can make it work.
looking for C3PO, R2D2, all of the numbers and letters that you need. Alex and his crew has got you. 64 Hamilton Street
Tell
North,
them to send me a message and we're gonna make it happen.
where every day it's 420.
Yeah, no, definitely. And again, like we said, Fernando, like anyway, we're gonna obviously be involved in helping you get this. Obviously, the messages out, getting fighters connected, obviously interviewing those fighters as well. So like we're super excited to kind of work with this on this for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the time, and whatever you guys need, just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, gentlemen, and everybody, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.